All right. Billy wants to say hello to everyone tonight. I've got my microphone back. Oh, watch out, Billy. Can you guys hear me? I think we're live right now. Let me know if you guys, oh yeah, Billy's on camera. I've done this because Billy's been jumping off the sofa tonight. So I'm going to put him on the sofa, but he's probably going to jump off. I've got my Billy Let's Go Brandon mug. Have a nice cup of coffee in there. Let's go, Brandon. All right. Top, oh, loud and clear. Okay, Billy, you go back on the sofa now. There you go, boy. Yeah. He's been jumping off though. So I think, yeah, is that good? Okay, great. So yeah, we'll try to do a lot of questions today. If you want to do that, we can talk a little bit about the dollar, of course, and the agricultural commodities. They're making a big move. Yeah, so it looks like Billy's all right now. We got Dave L, Bobby Critter, Alan Zibelman, Ivan Peter Jorn, St. Louis, the 9th, Indy, Captain Banana, Snowman, Gold and Silver, Mr. B. Hi, Mr. B. Pad is here. I haven't seen you for a while, Pad. Yeah, nice to see you. Fanta Naranja, do you think sugar is a good commodity investment? There's a sugar company that pays huge dividends. I think really commodities in general are good investments. That's my opinion. I haven't looked specifically at sugar, but I think sugar is also doing quite well, the sugar price. I've got a few charts today. I've got coffee, wheat, cotton, and oats. Oats is going up a lot. Oats, of course, is for porridge, granola bars, cereals. Dmitry Smirkovich, thank you for your super chat. Did you notice what's been going on at the short end of the curve this week? Did these rising bond long yields come with rising long yields? Are they losing control of the short end? Yeah. When CPI came out on Wednesday, I think the short end of the curve, if you want to call it, like 3, 5, and 7 years, they were up about 15 basis points, and the long end was up about 12. So yeah, basically the market is saying that they believe the Fed is going to have to raise rates a bit more than they thought before the CPI. Indy says dark blue looks good on you. Thank you, Indy. Yeah, the Great Closet, Südzucker Germany company. Yeah, I've heard of. When I started out in the business in Switzerland, my bosses were German, but so we had a lot of investments. I remember Südzucker company. We had it in our portfolio. Well, some of the clients had. Sugar is volatile, says Alan Zibelman. Pablo Pina. Hi, Pablo. I saw Pablo was on Wall Street Silver. They had a premiere. I was there for a while earlier on today. Dave L. Yeah, everyone needs their oats. Huge rally in Melbourne on Saturday. Yeah, I saw that. Of course, that's not being reported in the mainstream. It's amazing what's going on. Tristan Jones, I work part-time at Sainsbury's and the price increases are coming in every day, usually at least 10%. That's interesting. I mean, my wife does most of the big shop. I do go shopping, but she does the big shop. She doesn't go to Sainsbury's, but we went to Sainsbury's about a month ago and did a big shop. And my wife and I always have a game when we go and pay, when we're going through the till. We make a bet on how much the bill is going to be. And we were completely off when we went to Sainsbury's. It was a lot higher than we made the market for. I will say I'm, let's say, 120 pounds bid at 150, and she'll make her market. My wife used to work in the city as well, so we still have that kind of joke that we do. But yeah, Sainsbury's was a lot higher. My wife now, though, she usually just goes into Audi, which is better value. $903 Boulder, Michigan, and the Fed. Yeah, that's good. Says hi, Mario and Billy. Pablo Pina, the comment section blew up when you made your presence known. Well, I just wanted to participate on that because I didn't expect that to, yeah, that happens sometimes, I guess. It's all right. I have a sip of I've got my Billy Let's Go Brandon mug. I received it, I think it was yesterday, so, or the day before. Joker Alpha, if everyone paid off their loans and everyone took no loans or credits, would that, what would that do to the banks? It wouldn't be good to the banks. It wouldn't be good, because what that means, that would be deflate, that would extinguish a lot of their debt. And banks make money off lending. They also borrow, of course. They borrow and lend. That's why I always say, try to get out of debt. I know it's tempting to leverage yourself. And I guess sometimes when you're younger, maybe you need to get into debt. But that's why it's not just, I think, good policy not to borrow that much. And it's also good to live within your means, but also you're not like feeding the bankers. Joseph Fury, good evening, Joseph. Roy Edge, do you think they're intentionally devaluing the currency under the auspices of climate change? I work for Tesco, and yes, increases are more than half of the decreases. Any comments on Basel III? Yeah, I think they are inflating the currency on purpose, because the world is awash with debt, and the easiest way to cover that debt is to make the currency worth less, because the other side of the currency is debt. So yeah, it becomes easier to pay off the debt. Basel III, I'm not too concerned about Basel III. I know I covered it earlier this year. Yeah, it's not the reason why I hold gold and silver. I started stacking almost 20 years ago now, and I never thought about Basel III. So it could have an effect on the price of gold and silver. I guess the London banks, the City of London banks, they're supposed to get on the on the program with the program by the beginning of 2022. We'll have to wait and see. John Smith, could you make a prediction for the end of the year gold price? I don't like to do that, but why not? 2,200. There you go. 2,200. It sounds a lot, but it's not really. It's only about, well, It's about 10%, 12% from here, maybe a little more. And I think we're breaking out. I don't know what it's going to do tomorrow, but you shouldn't really care about. Yeah, it's fun to predict, but that's not the reason. It's just a date and it's just a number. I think, yeah. But anyway, Cheshire Yeoman. There was a bombing at Liverpool Women's Hospital today inside a taxi. The reason it was inside the taxi was because the cabbie saw the bomb and locked the bomber inside the taxi with him. I saw that headline a couple hours ago. Yeah. Don't know what that was all about. Ships moored. You don't park ships, Mr. B. Ships moored or anchored off coast of Devon, stacking those containers. You park cars. Good evening, Cozy Fantuti. Central bankers, they don't own gold ETFs, but I think the Bank of Japan has been buying stock market ETFs to prop up the markets there. But yeah, they buy physical gold. Swan silver, pounds or dollars. Right now, if I had to choose a fiat currency, which I don't like, I would choose the dollar. The pound doesn't look very good. The technical picture for the pound for the next month or two. Short term, it just does move around. Let me get the chart up of the let's have a look. I'll get a chart up of GBP USD. It doesn't look very good at all. Let me study, take it off. So I'll share the there you go. That's the British pound. I mean, it looks like it's forming. We're seeing, a top here in June. And since then, we've had lower lows and lower highs, and we've just broken this level here. So yeah, I think we could easily be around 130 or even 128 by the end of the year. The British pound. And I think we had a big move recently. All right. Let me see here. Graham Hobbs. I saw that about the black swan in Tiananmen Square. It was a couple of months ago that a black swan showed up. I don't know what it tells us about the future, but it's probably not a good omen. Could be the Evergrande. Who knows? There's been a lot of I think a lot of it's a lot of misinformation. We're not really getting a clear picture about what's going on with Evergrande. SC, a Dutchman over here. The life of the purebloods is getting pretty miserable over here. Yeah, I saw that, you guys. Not as bad as in Upper Austria, where they've got a lockdown for people who are pure bloods. I think in the Netherlands, it's a lockdown for everyone. Tristan, I don't think the Federal Reserve keeps sterling as reserves. The only reserves the Fed has are dollars and gold. So they might be closing off the swap line for the Bank of England, because they let the Bank of England, yeah, but they don't have pounds on their balance sheet, and the swaps are off balance sheet. So I'm gonna show you I'm drinking coffee with the Billy Let's Go Brandon mug. So I guess it's appropriate that I show you the chart of coffee. And it's a long-term one. And am I talking about coffee just for the fun of it? Not really. I just, as you can see here, we are at a 7-year high in the price of coffee. It has been a lot higher in the past. You can see it goes back to the 70s, but there's more room on the upside, which is not good. What I think the price of coffee, and we're going to look at wheat, cotton, and oats, it's showing that this is a currency problem. It's not just lumber like we saw earlier this year. It's not just like energy that we're seeing in the last few months. It's not just copper. It's all commodities. They're all going down because the central bankers and governments of the world, they've created a lot of debt and currency out of thin air. So that was coffee. So let's look at some of the questions here. Jeff McCarthy, what about the silver? They stole from the people in 1964. What happened to all that silver? I guess what they did is, I think there is still a lot of silver circulating even after 64. I guess small, businesses, when they took their change to the bank, I think the banks would try to keep that and then give them the new coins. But not sure they really stole all the silver. A lot of that silver is still around. I mean, I have 90 US constitutional silver, 1964 and before. So they didn't really confiscate. They just stopped minting coins that had 90% silver from 1965 onwards. So there's still a lot of it around. I'm sure the government, the treasury, took a lot of it in from the banks and melted it down. And you need to look at the Silver Users Association. People like Jeff Christian, for example, they work a lot for the silver users. Silver users are people like Christie's. Is it Christie's? Yeah, they do the jewelry, and also arms manufacturers, industry, right? They want cheap silver so they can sell it to you a lot more expensive, the jewelers especially. So yeah, look into the silver users. So let's bring up wheat, which is an important commodity, of course. Wheat. Let's share it. The thing is that energy seems to be taking a breather right now. So it, one group of commodity goes up, the other corrects, and then it's back and forth. But look at wheat as well. We are at a pretty much 7 or 8 year high as well. It's not just coffee, and there's a lot of room on the upside as well. There was a spike there, I think around 07, 09, 08. But yeah, it's not looking great. And the other thing as well, for the poorer countries, for the emerging market countries, this is bad news because the people there, their standard of living is not as high as ours. And if you will remember, I think the Arab Spring, if you saw that the price of wheat here, it spiked. Let me put it on again. It spiked during that period as well. Here, you see, that was the Arab Spring 2011. So we could start seeing trouble around the world because people are they're gonna go hungry. Maybe not in Western Europe or North America, but I heard that the food banks, local food banks in the US are spending a lot more money because food prices are going up so much more. When will Aussie housing market crash? Robert Gifford. Well, you know, the Aussie, you need to keep an eye on Aussie government bond yields. They spiked quite a bit about 3 weeks ago. They've come back off. Keep an eye on those. If you go on investing.com under bonds, and you can look at follow the Australian government bond market. If those yields start going up again and keep going up, that's an indicator that we could see problems in the Aussie housing market. And why is that? Well, because the government bond yields, if they rise, mortgage rates will rise as well. Mr. B says, hit the likes, follow and subscribe. Yeah, also, yeah, make sure you hit the notification bell, because lately it's slowed down. I don't know what's going on. It's just cycles, the viewership. Nine Meals to Anarchy. I think I learned that here. Where are you, Echo? Let's have a look at cotton. Cotton is one that I covered a few weeks ago, and it looks like it's continued to move higher, the cotton price. Higher. Yeah, there you go. I remember we're covering it around here, just below 100. I said, oh, it's broken out, and it's really flying now. So food, clothes, everything you need to survive. Of course, Jay Powell and Christine Lagarde, they have big enough salaries not to worry about clothes price. So that's cotton there. Let's look at oats. Oats looks really interesting. It's not as long. I've only got a chart that back to the beginning of the century, but this is very significant here. And this has only happened in the last, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4 months. So the price of oats since the beginning of this year looks like it's more than almost tripled. So it's not looking good for the soft commodities. They're called soft commodities as well, the agricultural commodities. Gas, yeah, natural gas. I think it corrected back below 5 this week. It's bounced back above 5. I think it's going to continue going higher. Echo. You learned this and that in this show. You're in Yorkshire, yeah. Gomer's 44. Nice of Billy to share his channel with you. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can find sugar. Someone's asking to look at the chart of sugar. Let's look. I think there's a couple of sugars. We'll look at the New York sugar. There's a London sugar and a New York sugar. Let's have a look. Sugar. Sugar. Futures. Yeah, sugar looks like it's going up as well. Have a look. Share it. So here you go. There's sugar. So we've gone from last year, it was trading just below 10. and now we're at 20, so it's doubled. And there's still a lot of room. It looks like it's correct, topping a little bit here, but the trend looks higher as well for sugar. So there you go. I'm going to put a link here. I was listening to an interesting, I haven't finished yet. It's a BitChute video, and it's got Robert Kennedy Jr. It's got, he's together with Catherine Austin Fitz, actually in Switzerland, talking about what's going on in terms of the crisis we've had since last year. Molybdenum, I haven't looked at molybdenum. That's an interesting one. I remember years ago it went through the roof. NB, formerly Norman Burton. I bought cheese wheels as inflation hedge. I asked you about it a while back. Good call. Yeah, I don't know if I've told you guys, my brother-in-law's mom, she's Swiss because my brother-in-law is Swiss. And during the war, she was a young girl. She told me she remembers that they used cheese a lot to buy things because there wasn't much money or currency around. So in Switzerland during World War II, they used cheese as money. Over here, yeah, I know they say a lot of things are bad, but they say that they don't want coal, but we saw that the COP26 was like a flop, right? That India and China said no, we're going to keep using coal. I think India said unless you give us $1 trillion a year, we're not going to stop using coal. So yeah, these globalists, they have all these plans to stop us doing things, but I think it's far from they're far from succeeding in doing that. The warm Isaiah, your friend in Israel is struggling to take delivery of silver. Uh, is it the same with food commodities? I would say so, warm Isaiah. There are the big food companies, big corporations that need the commodities. They can take delivery, but I think they don't want the retail investor taking deliveries of any commodity. And to be frank, I knew that Rafi would have a tough time getting that silver because I worked as a futures and options broker for 20 years, and that was never encouraged. Futures and options are there to speculate for people like us. And even for corporate clients, they just use it as a hedge. But for the big producers, people who actually need the grains or the commodities, they will deliver, but it will be like a whole ship, truckloads. They don't want to deliver just a bushel of wheat to you or to me. And I think the contract is much more than the bushel. Let's see, wheat futures specifications. I'm sure, let's see, CME Group, futures contract, wheat, 5,000 bushels. So, I'll show it to you. Where that's the thing. There you go. Do you want to take 136 metric tons of wheat delivery? So that's the thing. You see 5,000 bushels of wheat. So that's why, that's why gold and silver are good, because you can you don't have to do it through the futures. You can buy it from the dealers, and they will go up just like the other commodities. Or you could look at companies that are involved in the business. I haven't looked at that, but the reason why I'm showing people these charts is not, yeah, you could try to trade it, you could do an ETF, but it's just to show you that things are going to get worse in terms of the currencies. The currencies are going to keep decreasing. I know the dollar index has gone up a lot, but the dollar index is a distraction because it's mostly against the euro. And if you look at 2008, the dollar index bottomed just above 70. That was the all-time low. Gold at the time was at 1,030. And here we are now. Dollar index is at 95. It's up 35%. But gold is at 1865. Gold is up 80%. So gold is going to keep going up against all the other currencies and the dollar included. NB, thank you for your super chat. I own Nutrien, a fertilizer company, pays a dividend. Also, Mosaic is good. Well, thank you, NB. I might look at that because it's difficult to follow everything. I follow gold, silver, and the miners and some other companies, and I'm not really. I have traded in the past, but that's not my focus. But I will definitely look at Nutrien. A dividend is a good thing. And thank you again for your donation. So I've got a donation and a tip. That's worth more than 20 Canadian dollars, I would say. Milled steel. Hey, the Royal Mint took down that video about Cupro nickel coin reclamation. I'm not surprised. That didn't look good at all. They made it seem that it was a good thing, but not really good. It's good for the government, but not for us. There's the Billy Let's Go Brandon mug. I just received it a couple of days ago. Rick Davis says JP Morgan made me, I guess you mean buy as in purchase, SOV. Nobody makes me do anything. Why did you listen to JP Morgan, Rick? You should buy real silver, not SLV. JP Morgan doesn't want people buying real silver, and they don't sell real silver to their clients. I assume you have an account with them. Graham Hobbs, Wall Street Silver, we like silver, period. Yeah, I saw that. It's their motto. The other company that I think I'll show you, let's have a look at some charts. I think it's let's have a look. We're going to look at Barrick Gold. It's one of the big miners. But I looked at the chart of Barrick. I think it's got quite a bit of upside compared to Newmont, for example. So if you look at this chart, let me do something here. Barrick, pretty long-term chart. Hold on, Barrick Gold. I think they pay a pretty good dividend as well. So you're indirectly earning gold as a dividend. As you can see, Barrick Gold, that has, I mean, it's nowhere near when gold topped in 2011. Barrick Gold went to 55, and we are almost at the same level that gold was back then, and Barrick Gold is at $21. I think that's a good. I'm not giving financial advice, but I think it's an interesting miner to look at. It's a big one though. Let's see what the dividend for Barrick is. Barrick Gold stock. Oh, they don't give you the dividend. Here, let's have a look. Yeah, it's just under 2%. I think let's show you. I think Newmont has a higher dividend. It's like almost like 4% or something. not too, yeah, it says here 1.73% the dividend for Barrick Gold. It's more than the 10-year yield or the 10-year note, treasury note. Cheshire Yeoman thinks Barrick is a good buy because of its large debt burden, couple of billion, but they are paying it down. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was what Buffett bought last year, and he only held it for a few months. I don't know what that was all about. Justin McLaughlin says that Barrick is more than just gold. They probably are. Haven't looked too much into the company. Yeah, Frank Murphy, I saw that about Liverpool. I got some more. I wanted to show you guys also. I've had him here on the channel, I think a couple of times. He Tavi Costa. He's based in Colorado. He works for Crescat Capital, and he does macro analysis. And so I was talking earlier about the agricultural commodities. He's got a few charts here. So he's got this chart here. This is from Bloomberg, agricultural commodities. So you see it's breaking out. I don't have access to the Bloomberg terminal. It's too expensive for someone like me. I used to when I worked in the city. So this looks interesting. So long-term chart of agricultural commodities, that's breaking out as well. And this is also bad news for food prices. We've got steep rise in ammonia, agriculture commodities versus ammonia prices. So yeah, look at that. That doesn't bode well. I would say, I'm not a prepper, but I would say if you do go shopping for groceries and food, try to stock up, buy a little more than usual, I would say. He's got some other interesting charts here. He's got another one I wanted to. Yeah, this one here. This is about aggregate free cash flow yield with enterprise value. This is of the gold and silver miners. I mean, this is very positive. So what does he say here? And the other thing I recommend people, if they are interested in the gold and silver miners, is to go to, let's say, Sprott Asset Management. They have gold funds, miners, and you can go into the prospectus and see what they hold. And there's loads of companies, and you can pick and choose. Just a friendly reminder that gold, silver producers are still trading at ridiculously cheap free cash flow multiples. High quality explorers offer even better value and appreciation potential. Perhaps the most asymmetric opportunity I've ever seen in my career. So yes, it's been frustrating the last 14 months in the precious metal sector, but yeah, I'm holding on to my miners. I think it will pay off. Okay, let's go back. HZJ79, thank you again for your super chat. Let's look at some questions now. I think we've gone through enough charts, unless someone wants to look at some other charts. Mario, my shrimp sushi rolls went up 20 to 30%, but my wage went up 2.6%. Yeah, well, that's what happens during when prices rise. It's the consequence of inflation. What I would say is that they will give us all the excuses, supply chain strikes. For coffee, they're going to say there was a frost. Brazil, the winter, of course, is during the summer. For the northern hemisphere, there was a frost in Brazil. They'll give you all the excuses, but I would say this is more of a secular inflationary period. We've had 13 years of inflation, well, hyperinflation, really. And by hyperinflation in this sense, I don't mean the collapse of the currency, even though I think we'll get that. We've had massive inflation from the central banks. Just if you think the major central banks of the world, their balance sheets were around 3 trillion in 08, and now they're over 30 trillion. And they created those reserves to buy assets out of thin air. So there's a consequence to creating reserves or money out of thin air. And I think we're paying for it now. It's a hidden tax. Archer Daniel Midland. Yeah, ADM, that is a food company, commodity company. I think Cargill is a big one too, but Cargill is a private company. Inflation equals less sushi. Yeah, definitely. I like sushi and sashimi. Yeah, John Hopkins, they are stealing assets. I was reading today that the biggest landlord in Spain now is Blackstone, the private equity group, and they have a coalition partner in the Spanish government. They want to put price controls on the rents. That's not going to work, but you can understand why people are not happy. But it's all a consequence of all the bailouts we've had of Wall Street. They've pushed people into leveraging themselves to buy properties, and then they pull the plug. People default, they have to leave their homes or apartments, and then they give all the bailout money to Wall Street. They take that and they buy the real estate, the properties for pennies on the dollar or on the euro in the case of Spain. And is it any wonder now that Blackstone is the biggest landlord in Spain? And it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be elsewhere. It's going to be other like BlackRock as well. And I saw that Lloyd's Bank is buying properties here. Rice chart. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can find rice. Is that traded? I think that's traded in Japan. I don't know. Let's have a look. Rough rice. I think that's the contract, isn't it? Rough rice. Have a look. Rice futures. Rough rice. Yeah, there we go. CBOT. Let's do a little more short term. Here we go. So yeah, there's rough rice. It spiked very high last year in June. You went up to like $24 almost, as you can see. I don't know what happened there, and then it came down. But if you compare it to, let's say, was it March? Yeah, it's going up, not very sharply, but I would say need to keep an eye on this level here, 1462. But it seems to be under control, but still above. If we go back, about 6 years, it's above, where it used to be. So that's not great either for rice. Rice prices. What else have I got? Oh, the other thing I wanted to show you guys, and I have to thank Rafi for this because he talked about this in his latest report. I recommend people uh, look at the Endgame Investor. I think you can get a free trial, and I think it's about $200 a year, and I think it's worth it. He was talking about this is basically households, so it's not businesses, and it's checkable deposits and currency. So this is money in the bank that people have and currency. And look how much it's gone up since 2019. It's gone from about $1 trillion, and it's now almost 2.8 trillion. So people have a lot of cash, a lot of firepower. Uh, maybe not everyone, but in general. So a lot of this money is going to keep flowing into real things, into commodities, goods. So this is another reason why you're going to continue to see higher prices. And this is a huge jump, as you can see, going back like 24 years or so. And this, of course, was from the Federal Reserve. Oh, I've got another interesting article that I highly recommend, and it's more to do with what's going on in the world, health-wise, and with all the lockdowns and the mandates. So I'm gonna put the link on the chat. Expose Klaus Schwab's School for COVID Dictators Plan for Great Reset. So highly recommend. I read this article earlier today. It's not that long. So if you want to, here, put it here on the chat. Shoulder pads. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to recommend a couple of books, and one is for probably more my US viewers, uh, and it's for people who like coins, not just bullion coins, because they have bullion coins in here too, but all kind. It goes back all the way to colonial times. They talk about the coins that are rare, you know, the prices. It's the United States coins, RS Yeoman. It's a guidebook. Highly recommend that if you want to get involved in numismatics and even buying bullion coins. It's got all the, there you go. The other one is more for my UK viewers, but I guess everyone around the world, and it's the Sovereign, the world's most famous coin, a history and guides and price guide. So this one here, it's by what's the author's name? Is there an author? Daniel Fearon. There you go. Highly recommend that as well. Yeah, it's got some really nice photos as well. I'll show you how. You see, it's got all the years they minted the coins and all the information about sovereigns. So those are the books I wanted to show tonight. My Let's Go Brandon Billy mug. Oh, we still got another 20 minutes. So is there anything else I wanted to look at here? I can just take questions now. Pretty relaxed. Echo Royal Mint start selling 2022 sovereign tomorrow morning. I think it is meant to have a new design. Oh, that's interesting. I spoke to Oliver Temple earlier last week, and he's still got plenty of supplies of gold and silver, but he said it's getting a lot busier. He's been very busy, mostly, people buying. So just wanted to, for those of you who don't know, people have asked me in the past where here in the UK or, where can I buy gold and silver? And I tell people to do their homework, to find, go online and search. But I have a promo code with Gold Investments. It's Monaco64. I've been doing business with them for 20 years. I'll show you here. Where is it? Anyway, yeah, on about. I started dealing with them with Mike Temple. He's retired now, and now Oliver Temple is in charge. But his brother Simon is there too. And so it's a family business. And the other thing that Gold Investments will do is they will match, if you get a better price somewhere, they will match it. And then you get 0.5% discount using my promo code as well. El Daily Effendi, thank you for your super chat. Echo, trying to find a 2-ounce silver coin, a beast, Queen's Beast. Yeah, I don't have one of those, a 2-ounce. Phelps buys gold. What is the real street price of a 1-ounce gold sovereign? Well, a gold sovereign is 0.2354 of an ounce. So I would say right now I've been looking. So I've been looking at the prices from all the dealers. They're actually trading above 40. They're trading like 1460, 1,460 pounds, or even more, depending on the amount. And the spot price of gold in pounds is around 1390, 1,390. So the premiums are from, like, if you buy 1,000 sovereigns to one, they're like from 5 to 8%. So they're pretty high premium. So yeah, the sovereign is 7.99 grams, and then you have to multiply that by 0.9166 because it's 22 karat. So it's 7.32 grams, about 7.32 grams of pure gold, which is just under 1/4 of an ounce. Yeah, it's one of my favorite coins, the sovereigns. They're good size. And I've taken sovereigns abroad, traveling through airports, and I maybe just 3 or 4, and I put it together with all my other change. And when I go through security, they don't even know it's gold. They think it's like just a normal coin. They don't even know. So, but if you put a 1-ounce coin, then people notice that. So the sovereign is quite discreet. That's the size of a sovereign. You can get a half sovereign as well, which is half a sovereign. So Phelps says 1-ounce buffalo right now is 1950. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, actually, considering we're around 1870 almost. That's a pretty good price. Oh yeah, Echo says, I love the sovereigns don't say the word gold. Well, it doesn't have to, does it? Because I guess it was when it was money and currency up until 1914. It doesn't even say the weight. People knew what a sovereign was, so they didn't have to say it. Oh, this here, if you can see, is a $5 gold piece. Can you see that? It's got the Indian head as well. So, and that's the sovereign. So they're like almost exactly the same size. But the sovereign is just under 8 grams. The $5 gold piece, and this is from 1911, right? The sovereign here is from 1915. So, and the pound, that a sovereign is a pound, right? And that's $5. So it's more, and if you the exchange rate between the pound and the dollar for 100 years up until 1914 was 4.86. So this has a little more gold in it than this. So I did the calculations and guess what the exchange is. Like, it's this one, if you, this is a pound and this is $5, so 4.86. This has a little more gold. So if you do the calculation, the ratio is 4.86. So that's why gold is so important, because even the exchange rates we have today are based on the old gold standard rates. It's just that the pound is the fiat pound has dropped so much. From it used to be almost five. 1 pound used to be $5. Now it's only 135. So it's been yes, the dollars dropped a lot versus, or the fiat dollars dropped a lot versus gold, but the fiat pound has dropped even more. Andrew Nielsen, thank you for your super chat. I have 3,000 Kirkland Gold shares. Do you think I made a good investment? I'm Golden Silver Bug. Learned a lot from you. My dog Paisley is 13. Karen Terrier. Yeah, Billy is 13 and a half. He's getting old, Billy. Let's have a look at Kirkland. I think all the mining gold and silver companies will do well. Let's have I think Kirkland, I've heard of Kirkland Gold. That's a good company as well. So, I'm not trying to be lazy or anything, but when the miners and the gold, and I think they're going to move quite soon when they do, when there is like a mania in gold, uh, it won't matter too much what company you've got. So let's have a look at Kirkland here. Share. There you go. That's Kirkland Gold. I think this is in US dollars. So yeah, I think it was at last year. It topped at 57. So yeah, it looks like it's going back up, and looks like the trend is up. That's Kirkland Gold. Maybe try to diversify as well. Maybe buy some other companies, not just one. Maria McRae wants to look at platinum and silver. Is that platinum versus silver, or just the platinum and silver? Let's look at platinum then first. Uh, Oh, there we go. Platinums. Okay, that's a platinum. Looks like it's a CFD. Yeah, I mean, I think platinum, yeah, still quite a lot of room on the upside for platinum as well. It's more of an industrial metal, even though it's a precious metal. So, I think that's a bottom there. I think we're going back up here. Not right, not in the short term. Longer term, it looks like the trend, that was a bottom there last year. And it seems to be underperforming a little bit. Gold. Let's have a look at silver now. Silver. Silver versus dollar. Yeah. Okay. Silver. So there you go. Silver. Yeah, I think 22 was like bottom here. We even went below it towards the end of September. This is really an important level here that we held. But in terms of it did very well last year. Of course, went from below 12 all the way to 30, and we're just like I think it's like a coiling spring, and once we get above, some people have 25, even 26 or even 28. uh, I think even also when we get through 30, it's going to move very quickly. So you just need to be patient. This is a long-term chart, of course, weekly chart. Let's see if we can get the really long term. No, it does only goes back to 2003, this one. But yeah, there you go. That's the silver chart. Oh, I saw. I don't watch it too regularly. I'm subscribed to Newsmax on YouTube, and they were interviewing this truck driver. He ran for state senator in New Jersey, and he beat the incumbent. He spent like $7,000 in his campaign, and the incumbent spent like almost 2 million. And the guy asked him, what did you run on? And he said, well, I run I ran to against all the policies they had in the last almost 2 years, excuse me, of locking people down, locking companies down. I thought that was really interesting, that that guy won, and he said he's going to keep working as a truck driver at night while he still serves and he will serve the public um, during the day. Oh yeah, echo echo. We do have CPI and RPI in the UK. We also got CPI in Europe. Um, I think the RPI is expected to be like almost 6%, and the CPI is expected to go from 3.1 to 3.9. I would say those are the expectations. I would say the CPI might come above 4 and the RPI above 6, but they only focus on the CPI. CPI corrupt propaganda index. Mario, how does one educate someone who is lost and unaware of the situation? Indie. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. How did I think people need to ask questions, not accept things as they're told. If you ask questions, then that's the first step into looking at things. You need to ask questions. If you don't understand something, you need to ask questions and try to learn why. That's all I would say. People, and not everyone is that curious about things, and I have been. So that's all I can say. And do a lot of studying, a lot of reading. That's what I've been doing for a long time. Mr. Ashford, I was told in the Roman days, if someone faked a gold coin, people would buy them for test for gold. Was a Bitcoin. Just found it interesting. I think they would also, they would also get rid of you. Counterfeiting coins is a pretty, I think it's still a crime punishable by death under the US Constitution. But I would say that Bitcoin, the Spanish dollar used to be cut in eight parts, little pies. You remember pieces of eight, and they're also called bits. So I think that's why they called Bitcoin, because it's from, I think a dime is a bit. It can also be called a bit. And the old Spanish dollar, which is what the US dollar is derived from, people used to cut it, because they didn't have smaller coins. That would be the change. They would cut it in eight, and those would be bits. So there would be 12.5, cents, so to speak, to each. Each bit is about 12.5 or a dime. Echo. Yeah, I should write my own book. Yeah, people have said that. It's something that I write every 6 weeks, an article for a new magazine up in the north of England. And it's interesting. Just have to find a subject. I've never written a book. Pieces of eight, yeah. There's also the Bitcoin price. There's 8 places after the decimal point. Frank, me, I used to smash my nickels into quarter. So I used to flatten them to use at the quarter machine. That's not. That's Dougie kid. I haven't slept in months. Can't learn enough right now. While you do need some sleep. Echo. It's the Tyne Valley Express. It's a local magazine. It's a small, yeah. James Meyer, do you think that it is a possibility that the previous administration set these people up? No, I think the previous administration and the current administration, it's just theater. They're controlled by someone that we don't know who it is, powerful people. It's just theater. they've gone from one guy that people love to a guy that people hate. I don't think it was the administration. It's the people. The people, they're puppets. The people who control the puppet strings, the man behind the curtain. They're the ones doing it, not the previous administration. That's the way I see it. I try not to get too much into politics, even though, yeah. All right, just one or two more questions. I see that it's time to go to sign off. Yeah. So just wait for President Brandon. I saw someone called it the Brandon administration. Uh, in the UK, I think there's some gold mines in Scotland and maybe in Wales as well. All right. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for showing up for my live stream and participating. Thanks for the questions and your interest in the channel. And for those of you who are new to the channel, think about subscribing, hitting the notification bell, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Joker Alpha, have you heard much about Argentina's hyperinflation? Yeah, I have. I mean, they've had hyperinflation quite regularly, but I haven't looked at Argentina recently. Echo, I didn't play this weekend, but hopefully I'll play a little bit during the week. Okay, thank you, everyone, and enjoy your week, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.